Broderick Jones could not be the week 1 starter.
That left tackle spot, that left tackle battle position in training camp is something to definitely keep an eye on. Because Broderick, although he's a first-round pick, he's a top 15 pick, he's still a rookie. He's still got a bit of rawness into him. He's still got some working to do. Dan Moore, he's obviously very experienced for his age, 2 full years as a starter. But that battle position is going to be interesting. And although I feel like Broderick could be a day 1 starter, I would feel confident in him being a day 1 starter.
I think he's a day 1 starter. We even said that when we drafted him, that he was the last remaining day 1 starting left tackle on the board, which is why the Steelers had to trade up with the Pats in front of the Jets, and that they did.
But what I can see, and it's kind of similar to last year with Kenny Pickett, because Kenny Pickett was, arguably ready, more than likely ready to be the day 1 starting quarterback, but the Steelers didn't want to rush him out the gate, which is understandable.
Yeah.
I could see something similar to Broderick Jones in this case, and Dan Moore being a fill-in starter, to which, me and Dan's take on Dan Moore. He's not a full season starter anymore. That's not his role. But if Dan Moore were to fill in as an occasional fill-in starter for an inactive player, an injury to transpire, whatever, that's fine. That's fine by me. Anything to continue Broderick Jones' development and for him to kind of get in there a little bit until being the full-fledged franchise left tackle that we're hoping in Broderick Jones, that's fine with Dan Moore being the fill-in.
Because the truth is, and we really love Broderick Jones, we think he is the future franchise left tackle, which we all needed for the Steelers. That franchise anchor on that left side of the line, like a Trent Williams, like a Joe Thomas, like a Tristan Wirfs, guys like that. That's what we needed on this line. That's what we needed for Pickett. That's what we needed for Najee, was that anchor on that left side.
Yeah.
Broderick is that guy. I feel very confident in saying that. But the truth is, this year, he is still very raw because he only played a season and a half of left tackle experience at Georgia. He started all last year where he allowed 0 sacks and helped the Bulldogs go back-to-back in championships.
Yep.
But that was his only full year starting at left tackle. So the truth is, he's still raw. He only has what? I want to say not even 20 games playing as the left tackle.
You might be right on that.
He played a little bit of the postseason the first year the Bulldogs won and all of last year and did very good. He solidified himself as one of the better tackle prospects and athletes at that position.
And an absolute dog as a left tackle.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Pun fully intended. But, but the truth is he is still raw in his technique.
Yeah, and that's why I think
that might not force him to be the day 1 starter left tackle, which he doesn't have to be. I know we said that during the draft, and I still feel confident in saying that. We'll see what his progression is via training camp and preseason. But there is also no rush for this team right now.
Yeah,
it's still young.
That's why I say I can see the Steelers kind of having Dan Moore be the fill-in starter for maybe the first month, 4 weeks, 5 games, something like that.
Very similar to what they did with Kenny last year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And as far as Dan Moore's role, whenever Broderick does fill in, Dan Moore can be a fine extra lineman for goal line, short yardage situation. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah,
I think that role fits Dan Moore to perfection.
That's what's going to fit him well as being the backup swing tackle because, and I got to give Dan Moore a lot of props, and I commend Dan Moore for this because without the Steelers' knowledge, without the Steelers knowing before minicamp, before OTAs, Dan Moore was on his own time learning how to play right tackle.
That's right.
Which he never played before. You got to commend him for that.
Yeah.
Because he knows, hey, the Steelers trade up for this guy. He's obviously taking my spot. I got to find a way to still have a role in this team, whether that's as an extra lineman in goal line situations, whether that's as a swing guy to see time at right tackle, because the truth is, Chuck's, I don't know how much longer he's going to be here. I know the Steelers trust him enough, but contractually, how much longer is he going to be here?
Yeah.
I'm not saying Dan Moore is going to be the replacement for Chuck's right tackle. I don't feel confident in that. But you got to think that's what Dan Moore might be thinking. And the Steelers are definitely going to experiment with that. I can definitely see that as a formation we're going to see in preseason for sure.
Yeah.
Just to test him out, just see how he works. They already kind of did it in OTAs. They acknowledge he's been working at it. So obviously him and Pat Meyer are going to work on that and see where he can thrive there.
Yeah, they're definitely going to experiment with that for
sure. But
I
I think that's great for Dan Moore. I think that gives him an extra role. That gives him more work to do with the Steelers. And I think Ben even said it on his Football with Ben Roethlisberger podcast. I think it was the episode he had Shazier on right before the draft.
You might be correct. Yeah.
He's always given his linemen credit. There's one position he will never throw under the bus, and that is the offensive line. He's always given offensive linemen credit. He even gave Dan Moore praise, saying he thinks he's the future left tackle for the Steelers. Steelers don't think that themselves, but he did commend Dan Moore for how much of a hard worker he is.
Which is what you want. Even as a depth piece, as a swing guy, props to Dan Moore, credit to Dan Moore for his awareness of, well, shoot, they drafted this guy, they traded up for this guy, I may not be the starter anymore, at least for not so long, but I can still have a role here. Yep. I can still have a position here.
I got to commend Dan Moore for taking matters in his own hands and working and showing that work ethic that Ben gave him a lot of praise for. So I don't know exactly what his future role with the Steelers is, but I think we kind of see where it could be going. I think it'd be a very nice swing tackle for the team as Broderick Jones continues to progress.
Yeah, and Broderick, I'm real excited to see his progression, his development. This is a position that we were very vocal of.
Incredibly vocal of. That's why in our reaction, we were so passionate because for years we were saying get left tackle. All offseason, the main position we kept mocking in the first round, outside of one mock and one mock only, which was to Joey Porter.
Now a Steeler.
Yeah, now a Steeler, thankfully at 32. We kept mocking left tackle in the first round. We were so heavy on that position being improved, and I'm so glad Khan and company got aggressive, and they traded up for Broderick Jones, number 77, on that left side of the Steelers' picket fence.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in training camp, go up against our front seven, see what they do going up against other front sevens in preseason.
That's another great point, right? You have one of the best front sevens to learn from.
Yeah.
You're going to be facing the best in the business. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. That's only going to, it's iron sharpens iron, literally.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great camp battle. That's going to be phenomenal. You got Alex Highsmith going up against Broderick Jones. That's going to make each guy better. It's going to make Broderick better.
Yeah.
And another thing about Broderick, let's say he is the week one starter, right? Let's say Broderick is the week one starter. He's going up against Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
And I believe who we face week 2? Is it the Browns?
Let me double check.
It's the Browns. It's the Browns. Okay. Week 2. If he's the week one starter, he's going up against Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have some tough competition versus the Raiders. Max Crosby's on the other side, right? Chuck's the side.
So they got Chandler Jones then.
Still.
Chandler Jones.
Like, he's going to have a lot of competition.
Houston Texans week 4. Who's to say that Will Anderson ain't going to be on Broderick's side?
Yeah, he could be on his side or Chuck's side.
Baltimore Ravens, I mean, they have
way.
Yeah, they have fine pass rushers at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if Broderick, it's a big test for Broderick Jones. It really is.
If he's the week one starter, he's going to have a lot on his plate early on, but that's only going to make him better.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, is it throwing him into the fire? Is it throwing him into the wolves a little bit? Yeah. But if he's ready to be the week one starter, you make him the week one starter. Don't stare at our competition and be like, fuck. No, Dan Moore, no, you're the starter. We ain't going to hurt Broderick like that. No, you're only hurting Kenny doing that. You start Broderick if he is ready week 1.
If Broderick proves himself in training camp and preseason that he is worthy of being day 1. Kind of like what TJ Watt did.
Yeah.
He proved he was day 1 worthy, and you had James Harrison be the backup.
Yeah.
That's what you did. And TJ Watt fucking showcased what he could do.
And it's only going to make Broderick better, man. If he learns early on, if he goes up against the best early on and he doesn't do that well, don't panic. We got to have patience because there is no rush with this team. There's not. There's no rush yet. Next year, yeah, we can talk about it a little bit, but there's no rush with this team yet. With this line, yeah, it's improved on paper. We still got to be a little patient, especially with Broderick, because if he is week one starter, he's going up against great competition. If he doesn't do well, don't panic. If he does well, if he does solid, that is incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what we really got in Broderick Jones. But I'm excited for it. That's going to be a huge test for him if he is indeed the week one starter, but I'm excited for it. And going up against guys like Highsmith and Watt's only going to help him prepare for that.
It's going to make him better.
And so it's going to make this entire offensive line better, man. It's iron sharpens iron. That's what training camp is all about.